Welcome to the CX Live Dialogues. We are delighted to have with us today Mamoun, who is the Vice President at Uniphore for the EMEA region. Mamoun is a customer experience industry veteran with 17 years of experience in the field. Prior to Uniphore, Mamoun worked for UJet CX as the VP for the MEA and the South Europe region. And before that, he was the CX management leader at Cisco, covering Europe, MEA, and he has also led leadership roles at Avaya. Mamoun has a wealth of knowledge about how to best leverage technology to help organizations transform their customer experiences and contact centers. His work is transforming CX for organization that has been accoladed by various organizations. Welcome, Mamoun. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thanks a lot, Ayesha. Thanks for the intro.
It's always a pleasure. Now, Mamoun, digital experience is our supercharging brands and how they interact with their customers. How do you see digital experiences transform the customer engagement in the future?
Well, Ayesha, I always say when it's come to customer experience, we always aim to do something with the customer, but it's which is personalization. Make it context aware and so on and so forth. But we always trying to attempt that with the tools that we have. So that was the goal all the time. The question become how you define this, how you define personalization, how you define contextualization, and so on and so forth. And we are in a very interesting era because what I believe is the next hyper-personalization is coming into play. And that's hyper-personalization, the way I call it, is a one-to-one engagement, is a true outside-in engagement, where the customer, it should be the one who's orchestrating that engagement. And that's only happening because of the digital and because of AI as well. I wrote an article before joining Uniphore, not because I'm with Uniphore now, I'm talking about the AI part, but I wrote an article in 2016, and I said that the truly outside-in engagement is a customer orchestrated engagement where the customer is telling the organization how they want to interact with them. And in my mind, the only way to do it is to have an AI orchestrated engagement from the enterprise side. So a customer interact with the organization, and AI should be able to respond to that customer in a more emotional, more complete personalized way. And the customer should tell the AI what they want. And the AI should have the capability to orchestrate not only data with that, and this is what's the domain of today, but they should be able to orchestrate all the capability that the organization is creating. So to illustrate this concept, because I don't want to make it theoretical, to illustrate this concept in a way, the moment the human being interact with the enterprise will create so many capabilities within them. They create video, they create a lot of capability to authenticate, to automate certain processes on the digital side, registering for a service, and so on and so forth. The challenge is adoption. Customer maybe is not aware of these things. So the moment that customer interact with the organization, AI is, as we say, is as strong as you feed it. But AI is not gonna only, the true next level AI is not gonna only be feeding on data, but should also be feeding on the capability of the organization. So when you associate video, that you have video to connect with an expert, or you have, as I said, ability to authenticate and other processes that you're automating, the AI should be able to bring these to the customer at real time. So I interact, AI say, how can I help you? You say X, I'll bring you, authenticate you using a visual capability. Bring a chat capability within that conversation. And then the customer is actually sharing his name instead of spelling it Mike Alpha Oscar. He can enter that. He can share his document. He can do all these kind of things. So the AI should be the true orchestrator within this. And now when the customer want to interact with the human being, we want this AI to stay in that conversation and be co-piloting for that expert, whether the agent, collection expert, telesales expert, whatever expert is. So the AI should stay there, listening to that conversation and orchestrating that engagement and capability to the agent. So it's to bring the next best action that the agent should do. It brings a new capability from the organization for that agent to serve the customer better. You see, so in a way, what I'm saying, today we are in this, today this is not a dream, this is a reality. and this is, to be honest, at the heart of what Uniphore does, is how to achieve this hyper personalization for the customer to reach that level of customer experience that you want. And the beauty of it from an organizational standpoint, you do it in a very automated way. So, and that's what I call automation done right. You improve the experience, and at the same time, you are cutting on the cost and achieving high operational efficiency.
Definitely. And I think you've touched upon some very, very important points there, Mamoun. One is obviously the hyper-personalization that we're all talking about right now. But the other is that when you leverage these technologies, what is the end result? What's the end game? Are you achieving the operational efficiencies you're looking for? Is it enhancing the experience and therefore driving loyalty? Now, how does AI contribute towards the creation of true omni-channel digital experience for customers?
I love the question, Ayusha. So, see, I wanna draw a parallel with the omni-channel. As you said, I've been in this industry for a very long time. When I first came into the industry, there was the contact center was a call center, correct? And then other digital channels start coming in: web, social, mobile, chat, email, so on and so forth, start coming into the organization. How enterprise responded to this? Everybody started creating a siloed strategy. You will have a strategy for web and chat. You have a strategy for mobile. You have social with marketing, and so on and so forth. So it was a fragmented way of dealing with the customer. Now, these silos created a dilemma that's called multi-channel. And then what's came in to solve that problem is the omni-channel strategy, correct? So that's a beautiful parallel, because what I'm seeing today is that organization is actually falling in the same pitfall. The pitfall is they are adopting a siloed AI strategy. So if you look at organizations, you'll find them now, they have a chatbot, separate. They have a WhatsApp bot, separate. A voice bot, separate. Agent co-pilot, separate. Speech analytics, separate. So this is we are recreating the same problem. It's just exactly really the same. Like I'm looking at it, I'm saying I saw this movie before. Now the problem is that this situation will be worse than the earlier fragmentation or siloed approach that has happened. Why? Because earlier, these technologies used to be, by default, it's a static technology. You implement chat, you put it there, you implement. But now AI is a training model. You are putting the AI, first it's not going to be as good, and then they will start to train, correct? Now, the challenge is, as you are creating this siloed approach, this AI is trained on a separate conversation and separate data and so on and so forth. On the chatbot, on the WhatsApp is trained differently, on the voice trained differently, in dealing with the agent is trained differently. It's literally you are making it much more worse from an experience perspective, from a cost perspective, from efficiency perspective, and so on and so forth. So it's truly like that's the biggest pitfall that I'm seeing. And to truly achieve omni-channel within that, you will need a unified AI strategy. All right, so a singular AI that you deploy it, you implement it once, and you deploy it everywhere. So whether it's a chatbot, whether it's email, whether it's chat, whether it's voice, whether it's now co-piloting the agent, whatever it is, you should have that singular AI across all communication, or across all engagement. Now, the benefits you will get is ton. For the customers, the experience will be one. From AI learning model, an ability to respond to the customer in the right way will be next level as well, correct? Because all of them, they are learning at the same time across all channel, across all customer personas, all customer preference. So I truly creating that. Now they are interacting with the customer. When the customer wants to speak to an agent, as I said, the AI should stay there. It's like the Tesla model, Ayusha. The Tesla, when they give you a driverless car, a driverless car, or autonomous car, they actually ask you to give them the data. The moment you catch the steering, you should report that data to them. Because now the AI is learning where they're making the mistake the moment you grab the steering, correct? Which is, for us, is like from the conversation shifted from being automated towards a human being. So when you have that singular AI, now this AI will learn from the human engagement, because now it's listening and saying, oh, okay, that's where I'm making the mistake. So next time that conversation happen, the AI will be more trained actually to achieve this. And this goes back to wrap it up to what we say on the real omni-channel strategy. Omni-channel, you will keep defining it. It's the same thing, but you keep defining it in a different way. In the old days, it's just want to achieve a consistency across all channels, and you provide the right context for the customer. Today's word, to me, omni-channel is a true omni-channel, is a one-to-one conversation. So customer is owning that conversation, and AI is truly what's making that possible.
You've raised some really, really interesting and very important points out there, Mamoun. And clearly, it is the lack of, alignment with an organization. Even today, we see so many companies looking at speech analytics as a separate technology tool. They're looking at, your chatbots as a separate tool. And again, you've rightly said that unless this is now all imbibed and taken as an enterprise-wide approach, it is going to have wider ramifications. Now, considering that AI is kind of the main standing point for a lot of these technologies to be embraced within an organization, what impact does AI have on streamlining the customer journeys in an omni-channel environment?
I love it. So, see, at the get-go, what you will get. So first, the moment you put up an AI, you're giving control to the customer. Correct? Customer now is owning that conversation. So that's number one. Number two is this conversation will be truly frictionless conversation. Number three, the benefit you will get is from, if you look at it from an adoption standpoint, early adoption has always been a problem, correct? You increase more service on the IVR, people call in and say, IVR has changed, listen to our menu. Like, you introduce more capability on the mobile, and we go to organizations, say, we have everything in mobile, but customer don't use it, they don't like use it. That's not true. But I don't go open the application and navigate, what features or capability you did. Now, the beauty about having that AI in there, you will increase, all these capabilities and data is feeding to the AI. And AI is now orchestrating and educating customers about what is available there. So the customer, now you'll increase adoption on the self-serve side. Now, organization all the time, they wanted to increase self-service because the self-service is almost 80% cheaper than assisted service when a human being is involved. So you want to achieve that. But if you think about it, Ayusha, in the old days, the mindset was automation is in this side of the spectrum and CX on this side of the spectrum. So you usually automate on the expense of customer, correct? So, and I'm saying like today, that's absolutely should not happen. That's the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it. The right way is actually these two things will achieve the same thing. And you and I, when we interact with the organization, I wanted to hang up the conversation as soon as possible. But when my issue got resolved, correct? I'd rather not to speak to a human being if my issue will be able to get resolved. So if we focus on the right thing, which is getting the customer resolved in a frictionless, easy way, and do it in the most efficient way, that's how you achieve operational excellence. And at the same time, you improve customer experience, correct? And that's the beauty about the AI, Ayusha. AI is not a hype when it's come to the customer experience. It's not a hype at all. AI is driven with exact, and this is how I communicate it with the customer. Though CX is the most important element, I will always say CX is the cherry on top. Though it's a big cherry, but I say it's cherry on top because it's hard to measure it, correct? It's very, very hard to measure it. You will say like AI changed it. Everybody want to claim they contributed differently to that. But if you look at the elements when AI drives, it drives what I call it a green dollar ROI associated with it. And that's what you aim for. Do the automation, make it done right, and take the CX as a cherry on top. So you will get ROI from increasing adoption on the self-service side. You increase automation by minimizing the assisted conversation with the customer, which is, we call it average handling time. Because now you're guiding the agent, he responding to the customer very quickly. The AI is providing the next best action for the agent. The AI is providing the right knowledge for the agent to respond to the customer in an efficient way. AI is monitoring the sentiment of the customer and signaling the agent to supervisor, so on so forth, to respond quickly. We are associated as well. Once the human being is conversed, we have what we call it RPA, robotic process automation. And that's an important element as well. Instead of the agent opening multi-screen, now all we relate to this, you are in a conversation, you want to waive your fees or register for the service. What the agent do? Say, okay, can I put you on hold? They put you on hold for 1 minute, open the application, start entering information. Now, all these kind of thing, it can be actually a single click. So we will have an RPA, single click, and automate all that processes. And we've done this for that. We automate 80% of the tasks that organization does. We've done that so many times. So, and this is what I call automation done right. You do it, I'm happier. You close my issue as soon as possible. I don't want to stay on that conversation longer. If I do it on self-service, much greater. But, so you get that ROI from the operational efficiency side in a hard dollar value that we calculate, and in a simple equation. You don't need consultant to do it. You just go in there, we crunch the numbers. If we achieve higher percentage on the self-serve, what it does. If we minimize average handling time by this much, how much we can save. It's just very easily measured. You know your cost per call, assisted call, conversation, accumulate the difference, multiply it. It's a very simple equation that associate with a hard dollar ROI, and then you get all the other capability, increasing upsell, increasing CX within this. You get it as cherry on top. So, and to that point, to upsell thing, which is a big challenge. When you have an AI guiding the agent, the AI will tell the agent this customer is happy, correct? You don't need to educate the agent, like still upsell the customer all the time. Maybe I'm an angry customer, like why you are upselling me? But the AI actually will monitor if the customer sentiment is right. Based on the data that we have about the customer and conversation, he has high potential to buy, and that's the right offer for him. The AI actually will put that. So the agent is sitting there, the AI is telling them, upsell this. Because the customer is in the right mood, the right mindset. And I like to be sold to when the product is right. Correct? When and that's happened with me. Earlier I increased my package. I travel a lot and I need a lot of roaming, and I had to go look it up. I would rather if people, when I'm in conversation with my provider, to tell me, you know what, we have a better offer for you. It's just 20 dirham extra, but at the same time you get higher package for roaming call because you're doing a lot of roaming calls. Correct? Like that's the kind of right mindset that you do.
Correct. And again, you're rightly saying that there's so much investment that's going into making CX a really ROI-driven initiative for the organization. And coming back and asking these questions is so relevant to ensure it's a meaningful journey. Now, what would you say is the top technology enabler that is driving the experience, especially the digital experience transformation for organizations?
All right, so we spoke a lot about AI, Ayusha. So I want to say, if you're not investing in AI, you should start somewhere, definitely. And it's not a big bang approach. Don't think about chatbot and WhatsApp bot and so on and so forth. You can start somewhere, and that somewhere it can be you start with AI that drive operational efficiency within your organization, like analyze in just all conversation, and it provide you analytics, and that alleviate a lot of the no-sayer within the organization. So many people that say, well, I don't think Arabic would work. I don't think, the AI does what it does. I'm not gonna, but we have some bad experiences in the region. Maybe everybody knows that, but, with other customers, not our customers, with organization that we've seen in the early days, that actually put us a little bit back of people becoming reluctant. So what I tell customers is start somewhere. But now, once you have a unified AI strategy, when you start, for example, on the analytics side, tomorrow you will start seeing the conversation is being transcribed, is being analyzed, the intent is being discovered correctly. The analytics, you will see the accuracy in your own eyes. You will see the AI does what it's supposed to be doing. Now you will take that same AI and start expanding into other use cases. All right. So that is number one. So we talked a lot about AI. Start somewhere is important. I think number two, see, AI is kind of like I'm keep talking about the car, correct? But it's like you're building a Ferrari and all these kind of engines and so on and so forth. But what about the fuel, correct? the fuel is extremely equivalent important. If you have gasoline, regardless how good your car is, it's not going to function correctly. So I think investing in data, and that's a big topic. I think there's so many people write about it, about data literacy, and that we need to start there, that you need to invest on that element, correct? We need to invest on a capability where we start investing on the data part, investing more in data science element as well, data lakes, to make sure that you've got the right fuel for the AI. And I think Uniphore is doing, by the way, we've seen this problem, and we are expanding our capability to go in actually and start building that data lake for the organization. We've done the right acquisition, and we built up a platform. We call it the X platform, where the X platform is the place where we have the singular AI, but at the same time, it is the same place that where you start building your data lake. So you ingest the data once, you will have a singular AI that lane from all place at the platform, then you deploy it everywhere. And when I'm saying everywhere, on the CX side, customer engagement side, on the organization side as well, of how you leverage these capability on the organization side. So that's number two. Number three is, I know sounds like very obvious, but the cloud investment on the cloud is extremely, extremely important, correct? And I mean, the benefit of the cloud, there is so many benefits that is very obvious. Remove this capex that you have from your organization, put it outside. So that's an obvious element. And lots of people come in and talk about, the governance, and all these are a very valid issue. Now, I think in countries that we've seen in the Middle East, there is a good investment for infrastructure as a service provider. So we start having Amazon AWS here. We have Azure in UAE. We have in Saudi, there is a lot of data centers as well. Oracle Cloud is there. And now Google is investing there. So we have so many STC, they have their own cloud. So there is good investment. Qatar, same. Bahrain is same. So we have this layer is being created. So the data sovereignty issue is being resolved. So the cloud element is extremely important. While Uniphore, just to preface with this, we can run on a premise, we can run on any local cloud, we can run on a public cloud. But the thing is, the moment you invest in the cloud and you put up your solution in the cloud, you increase this level of agility that you need, right? Because now the solution is running somewhere. You start getting the solution updated, all new capability coming, to the platform at the quick pace. You will start ingesting that without paying for it, basically. It's just there, right? It's coming in, and you will have these capability within it. So I think the other thing about the cloud, I talk about this talk, by the way, in CX Live maybe 2 years ago. I talk about the cloud when there is, this was my thesis in my MBA thesis. I researched why most of the project fails. And the summary is, I find out actually, though it sounds obvious, once you discover it's an obvious thing, but it's a nice thing. Most of the project fails actually, the finding was it's a prediction error. Because when you set out to do a project, what you're saying, I want to achieve certain outcome in a certain time with certain budget, correct? So if you fail on any of these predictions, what you estimated, you're a failure, the project fails. And when the cloud, what it does from that element is actually minimizing this estimation error, because it is already on the cloud. It is already implemented. The solution is there. There is, you cut almost 9-month cycle or 6-month cycle in general when you are going to the cloud, because that just making it, the solution is already there. So you cut this estimation error big time. So I think AI, data beneath it, a cloud as an enabler is what's going to drive the next level of I would say, the digital transformation.
Now, clearly, there's a lot of work to be done within organizations to achieve that kind of optimal operational efficiency that we all seek. What is the top advice you would give CX executives to consider when building their CX strategy?
All right, I think that will be a sum up to a lot of that I said. I think first I would say, be careful of the same pitfall that has been done before. Okay, I'm saying like there's multi-channel now, there's omni-channel. I think there is multi-bot strategy now. I think we will start seeing it's my belief people will start write about omnipot, omni AI, because now that's what we are falling on the same trap. It's just exactly the same trap. So I think that is extremely important for organization to look at AI as a holistic strategy and not just be, they want to just respond, correct? So just, I see a lot of chatbot RFPs, a lot of WhatsApp bot RFPs. You know, it's just, I'm saddened to see that only, correct? Because you're missing the point. So I think adopting an holistic AI strategy is an extremely important, and adopting, working with a partner that provide you that unified AI layer is extremely important. Then you build a roadmap with that. You know, you don't, as I said, it's not a big bang approach. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So you create the right element, but you need the platform and to support you while you're doing that. So that, I would say, advice number one. I think advice number two is eventually, and it's all the time, I think you need to, you know, this is sounds sound very obvious, but putting the customer on the center is always been the omni-channel strategy. And I always, by the way, hated the name of omni-channel because it put the channel still on the center, correct? Like omni-channel, we're still thinking about channel, not about customer. So thinking about customer from outside in approach, and it truly come and think about it, how you will be able to achieve that, how you will put the customer on the center and let the customer be the orchestrator of that engagement. And I might be mistaken. In my eyes, this is AI, should be an AI orchestrated engagement from the enterprise side, but the thinking should start from there, putting the customer in the middle and start creating the right strategy within that of how you can make it a true outside in engagement for the customer. And I think the last thing I would say, automation and CX should not be contradicting. I think the right CX, when it's done right, you should be able to achieve both. And if we all look at our experience, we all want to be, our issue to be resolved as soon as possible. We would rather be doing it on the digital or self-serve without a human being involved. And up here, I was on a webinar today and somebody said, many people say, I don't want to communicate with a bot. I want to communicate with a human being. And I relate to that. I'm on a premium with all organizations I communicate with. But in reality, if you think about it, the something beneath that, why people say that? Because the bots today just doesn't work. You know, it's not solving the customer issue. So I think adopting, you know, don't take that. Just always go to the fundamental, go to the premise. Customer want issues to be solved. Customer is us. We want our issue to be solved quickly from the first time. Almost, we don't care how, right? So, and if you automate correctly, you will achieve the highest CX as a cherry on top. So you will achieve your ROI with that automation layer that is done right, and you will get the right CX done right as a byproduct of doing that.
What interesting viewpoints, Mamoun, that the viewers have been able to get from this discussion today. I think everything that you've touched upon is so close to heart to a lot of CX leaders who are grappling with the challenges that you've spoken about, grappling with making decisions on the technology they should be investing in, and predominantly grappling with how do you achieve the best CX for your organization. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure talking to you like always. And we really look forward to meeting you and the Uniphore team at the Digital Experience event in Saudi Arabia shortly, where obviously there'll be a multitude of other case studies and discussion points that you'll be able to share with the delegates on site. Looking
Absolutely.
forward to it.
Ayusha, I really want to acknowledge you. I love working with you. Now it's our third year working together, and wherever you go, we go. So we love working with you, and you always deliver. And it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.